Welcome to Tech Talk Tech, TV Video Review Talk Tech. I'm your host Alan, and today we're checking out the little Tikes ZOOM Video Camcorder. You must be in the market for a new camcorder. That's why you're here, that's why you're watching this video. You're gathering the information about all the different options you have. And there's a lot of options, and you want to pick the right one before you spend all that money. You want something with the right features, the right ergonomics, functionality, etc. We're going to take a look at a consumer level camcorder and a very excellent price point. Typically you find these in thrift stores. The major camera retailers at the moment aren't carrying this camera. It was a bit of an older model, being that it was mid to early 90s that this was first released by Little Tikes. Now, let's take a look at some of the exciting features about this camera. This camcorder, it's a pretty decent size, not too large, and the weight is actually very light. For a camcorder this size, you usually expect something heavier, and that's good, because if you're doing a lot of documentary, taking your gear out on the road, it's nice that at least the camera isn't so heavy. So, let's take a look at the lens on this. The lens has a 58mm filter thread, whether you're going to use a polarizing filter in there, neutral density, you can jam that in there. It doesn't actually have the threading, but you can jam the filter in there, like I said, and it'll fit and hold. The lens is a 24 to 50mm roughly focal length, and that's pretty good range for a camcorder this size. Now, let's take a look at an interesting feature of it, and you don't actually see this on a lot of other camcorders. Now, a lot of camcorders, they'll have what's called aspect ratio markings. So if you want to shoot something and you don't want it to be in the normal 16:9, but you want to add, the letterboxing, the black bars in post, you want to know where to compose your shots accordingly for that. And usually you can add lines that are either 1781 or 2391 for anamorphic. But on this one, you have this crank wheel, which actually makes a pretty spectacular sound as well, and it moves these two lines within the view inside the camera, so you could actually come up with your own custom aspect ratio. So that opens a whole lot of creative opportunities there. So that's pretty nice, and once you dial that in, that's gonna stay, unless you bump it. And let's take a look at the recording media on this camcorder. Now, the recording media is a little blue tape, and I actually don't know where that is for this one. But anyways, it's a little blue tape, and you slap it on there. And now, one of the downsides about this recording media is it doesn't actually record any video. This isn't really an operating camcorder. But other than that, there's nothing wrong with the little blue tape. On the back here, there's also another kind of interesting filter, and this is the bug eye filter. You turn this on, and why I say bug eye is because it's kind of like the view that a fly has. The fly has a lot of different chambers on its eye. That's kind of what you see when you twist this on. So that's a pretty neat in-camera effect. No After Effects necessary for that. It's an in-camera effect right there. Okay, let's take a look at the other side of this camcorder. Take a look at the other side of this camcorder now, and it's got a nice hand strap here, and it has your buttons right here, your forward, stop, reverse, record, right at your fingertips. Good buttons, good placement, I like that. This camcorder is typically made for operator with smaller hands though, so it is a bit difficult to get your pinky all the way through, but you can still get 3 of your fingers through there. And one thing about the buttons though, as much as I do like the buttons and good placement and everything, they're actually not operating buttons. They're just a sticker that's applied across here of the forward, stop, reverse, record. So despite seeing those functionalities there, you can't actually achieve the operation of those because it's just a sticker and not actual buttons. Now, let's take a look at the bottom of this. On most camcorders, you'll have a typical tripod mounting. Usually it's the, 1/4" thread. Anyways, on this, it doesn't have that at all. So if you're using a tripod, you're gonna have to just balance it, hope that the tripod's level and that it doesn't fall off. But that shouldn't be too big a deal. overall, I'd say the camcorder is pretty good quality, good operating features. I even like the eyepiece at the back. It will be flush to my eye as I use it. I don't have to worry about any sun getting in my way if I'm out running and gunning shooting with this. Of course, once again, just remembering that it can't actually record any video. But let's take a moment to look at the inside of this camcorder, because that's what we all kind of want to know about. What kind of image sensor we have in here. Let's look at some of the hardware in there. So let's crack this open, and we can do it pretty easily. There's just 3 screws here, and you know what? You can't use your standard multi-head screwdriver because it's too thick to get in there. No, you gotta have the right one. Phillips head, and that'll get you in there. So let's take a look at the inside of this camcorder. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to peel off this Little Tikes logo with an X-Acto knife. I'm just going to peel it off halfway so that it doesn't rip when I split the camera open. Because what's the point of owning a Little Tikes camcorder if I can't show off that it's a Little Tikes camcorder? Perfect, I don't have to worry about that being wrecked. Now let's get to those screws. Okay, being that those screws are the only visible things keeping this together, it should be pretty easy to pry it apart now. Okay, it's actually looking more difficult than I thought, so I'm going to use this flathead screwdriver now. And I'm going to just kind of try and pry it apart. Wow, they really put this together good. And you know what? That might be a good thing as well. I know that the contents of my camcorder are very secure. It looks like there's actually another screw inside there that can only be accessed by prying open this panel here. Okay, that's actually not coming off very easy either. You know what? I think you just gotta pull as hard as you can. Okay, there we go. So we've gotten it open, and wow, it all looks pretty spectacular inside there. Okay, take a look at the inside. It's looking all pretty good. I haven't seen anything as far as the image sensor, although got a good idea of how the zoom works on this. And of course, this is that creative filter here, the bug eye vision as I like to call it, fly vision rather. Yeah, pretty neat. And of course, this is the aspect ratio markers changing in here. So overall, pretty solid build on the inside. Little unfortunate that I needed to nearly break the camera to get it open, but aside from that, it's all looking pretty cool inside. And you know what? I noticed that there's a 1-800 number on the side of the camcorder under the handle that says, call this number for repairs. So even though I wrecked the camera now, I know that I don't need to worry because they're gonna fix this camcorder up for me. Okay, so we had a good look at the inside of this camcorder. All I'm gonna say is, if you do get this camcorder, I'm not gonna recommend opening it because as you can see, that was a bit difficult and it's not quite going back the way it was. But anyways, let's think about how is this camcorder? Okay, it doesn't actually record video, that is one setback, but it's got great features. I love the aspect ratio markers. The lens is a pretty nice lens with a good zoom range, and the creative filter is a pretty neat option. Size, weight, really nice too. Not a bad camcorder overall, and remember, very inexpensive, so still not a bad option, but if recording video is absolutely crucial to you, then maybe you want to look elsewhere. But if you want a camcorder that doesn't necessarily need to record video, you just want to look through a lens and have fun, this might be the camcorder for you. Okay, well anyways, for TV Tech Talk, Video Review Tech Talk, I'm Alan. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Next time. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.